had issues. I have. And I think I've worked through them. But if I had tons of issues, you might want to look in the mirror to see where they came from.
Oh, wow. So now you're blaming me for all the terrible things that you've done.
You're talking about influence on a child? Think about you and how you were always lurking around my entire family. And what you did, hurting my grandmother and my mother, this oversexed gold digger just bulldozing her way through my entire family.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another bold and a beautiful review. Today's episode was a lot, okay? Brooke and Thomas had a showdown and they were both calling each other out. This showdown definitely had what was missing in the Hope and Steffi showdowns because neither one of them held any punches. And you know what? I love reading your comments and seeing all of the bold and the beautiful history buffs. I'm going to need some of your help in the comments because some of this feels like a little bit of a rewrite or exaggerations, or maybe they're telling it from their own perspectives, but I definitely need some of you history buffs to get in the comments and help me out in teasing out some of these points that were made today. But before we get into all of that, I just wanted to let you know, I think this is cool. Ashley Jones, who plays Bridget on The Bold and the Beautiful, is having a marathon on Lifetime today. I wasn't aware that she had this many Lifetime movies, but all that are going to be running Lifetime movies that she starred in back to back. So if you're not doing anything, you want to check that out, check out Lifetime and check out her stuff. But let's get into this Bold and the Beautiful review.
Okay, so me stepping in as your stepmother when your mom was gone, that gives you reason for all those bad mistakes and decisions you made your entire life? No, I don't think so.
This is just classic you, not taking any responsibility. Of course you would. You know what, that doesn't really matter to me because Steffi and I, we're moving past this whole thing. Putting it behind us because the Forresters are finally rising up.
So Thomas goes on to say, because it's time for his parents to be together and it's happening right now. They're getting closer and it's going to happen. Now, my question to all of you, his point on Brooke being the cause of all the things that he's done badly. Do you agree with that? So we saw two different perspectives here. He's saying basically that Brooke chased every man in his family around, and that led to him having problems as a child. She's reminding him that she stepped in as a stepmother when Taylor went away, the whole storyline with the prince kidnapping her, and when we thought she was dead, and then she came back to life, and it was a mannequin. Which now that's it. That's very funny that they had that lifelike mannequin of Taylor and then the lifelike mannequin of Hope that he ended up kissing and stuff. So that's just kind of weird. That just popped into my head. But for those of you who have religiously watched from the beginning or just very familiar with this storyline, do you feel that Brooke's actions negatively impacted Thomas, thinking about all the deeds that he's done in the past, which she will bring up later in the conversation? Like I said, neither one of them held back today, but I want to know your thoughts on it.
It's not like I'm going to be out of your life for good. I have Forrester children.
You're right, and you did your best to ruin their lives too. I mean, gosh, I only had to spend like part-time with you, but then...
It's really not fair that you would blame me for all of your bad behavior.
I just wonder what it would have been like if I had the chance, the opportunity to grow up without you as a mother.
Someone brought this up in the comments the other day about Brooke having Forrester children as well. And I was like, you know what? You're right. The way the writing is now, you would forget that Bridget and Rick are Forresters. They are Eric Forrester's biological children. And then you also have RJ that she has with Ridge. But the Thomas that you see when he's talking to Hope versus when he's talking to Brooke, he hates her with a passion. I mean, a passion. And like I said, this argument was so interesting because Thomas went low and he threw his punches, but Brooke went right back there with him.
So because of my influence, you turned into the kind of person that would lie about a baby being dead or think that kidnapping is a courtship. And I'm not even going to mention the mannequin. To think about what you put my daughter through.
So Thomas goes on to tell her that the kiss between his mom and dad and Monaco was meant to happen. So they are thoroughly enjoying throwing it in Brooke's face that Ridge and Taylor are getting closer.
A day is coming and soon will be when your reign and your grip over my father and my family ends.
So a couple of other things I noticed in this scene. Brooke was really nervous about Thomas waving that knife around. I don't know if they just threw that in there or there's something's gonna come of that later. We shall see. And Douglas really loves Brooke. At the beginning of the scene when she walks in and he notices her, he jumps up, runs and says grandma, and runs and gives her a big hug. So at that time that he's been over at Hope's house, he's really grown close to Brooke as his grandmother.
Remember, I've been selfish. Everything I did. Still, it is selfish. I've made bad choices all my life. And they've affected my kids, especially when they're younger. You gotta take care of your family. I mean, you're not gonna be sidetracked by you're not gonna be the father, the husband, that I should have been.
So this speech was very long with a lot of awkward pauses to kind of show you how difficult it was for Ridge to get through it. But I tried to clip it up in a way to give you a gist of it. But he was basically looking at Finn and how he always comes home and admiring the type of dad that he is. He's going to be there for his family. Now, he did admit that he's selfish, which I was happy to see. But then at the end, you see there, he kind of reduces his relationship with Brooke to a sidetrack. I was like, wow. I'm curious to know your thoughts on that. Because we're talking about a love story that spanned 30 years. And yes, in these recent years, it's been hard to watch. And even as not far back as a few years ago, remember when Liam was trying to make a decision between Steffi and Hope? Ridge went to him and told him that Hope is the safe choice, but Steffi is the excitement that you love to be around. He was kind of likening his self being torn between Taylor and Brooke to Liam being torn between Hope and Steffi, saying that he's always going to have the love for the more exciting one.
What I do know is that when you came back all those years ago, that was it. That was our time to be together as a family. 5 of us. That's what Thomas wanted. Steffi. Phoebe.
So you see, they did somewhat acknowledge here that Taylor was going and return, and Ridge is feeling guilty about not choosing to go back to his family with Taylor once she did return. So I know they have some scenes in Aspen coming up, and that will be interesting to see how that all plays out. Now, another little interesting tidbit that's getting thrown in, I don't know if this will be a part of the Bridge-Trish triangle, but it sounds like Shauna is coming back. Catherine Kelly Lang did a live last night. She and some of the cast were out celebrating one of their favorite restaurants closing that the cast loves to go and hang out at. And here's what she said.
Shauna's back. Yeah, she came back. She came back, Shauna.
She did. You can say that.
Yep, she did. Yep.
So someone in the comments said Shauna's back, and Catherine said, yes, Shauna's coming back. She looked over at the producer, and he said, yes, you can say that. So again, I don't know what part it's going to play with the storyline, but it does look like we will be seeing an appearance from Shauna again. Those were your major storylines for today. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like the video, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.